There's an old saying that goes, "Beware of the man who only appears in the mirror." We don't know exactly when this proverb came into existence or who coined it, but it has survived all these years, and sometimes we just do things we don't want to do, like eat cookies when we're trying to lose weight. But whenever those moments arise, we look away. We hide from ourselves, because it describes something that everyone can relate to, a part of ourselves that is always with us, but which we choose to ignore. Today's video is inspired by a Reddit thread asking people to share stories about times they were shocked by what they saw in the mirror. I stepped out of the bathroom and stared at my reflection for a moment. This happened to me when I was in high school. I was in college and I decided to go to a Halloween party dressed as a sexy police officer. I put on a tight black dress, black heels, and a pair of dark sunglasses. Then I gave birth to my son. I was so tired all the time that I would skip meals and forget to eat. I remember looking in the mirror as a kid and hating what I saw. Then I looked up at the mirror on the wall and screamed, "Holy crap." I have struggled with my weight my whole life. And one day I was at my doctor's office and he told me that if I didn't lose weight, I would die young. I went home and locked myself in the bathroom. I was crying. I looked in the mirror and told myself that I was the most disgusting person on planet Earth. I needed to do something. I cleaned myself up and got out of the bathroom. That was the darkest day of my life. But it was also the best thing that could have happened to me. I joined Weight Watchers and lost 100 pounds. There was a man staring back at me and he was bald. I had no idea. I touched my head and pulled my shirt up. I had been balding since I was a teenager. I tried covering it up with hats and hoodies. But somehow I had never noticed how bad it had gotten. I went home and shaved my head. It looks so good. I feel so relieved. I would cry to my mother, saying, "Why am I so fat?" She would hug me and tell me that I was beautiful. Then when I turned 13, my aunt told me I should lay off the cookies because I was starting to look like my mother. That hurt a lot, but it made me take action. I cut back on the sweets and started going to the gym. 3 years later, I was in the best shape of my life. I was happier, healthier, and more confident. Looking in the mirror, I could see how skinny and unhealthy I was. I knew I should go to the doctor, but I kept putting it off. Finally, my wife convinced me to make an appointment. The doctor checked me over and told me I was suffering from a vitamin deficiency. He gave me a shot in the butt and told me to start eating better. Afterwards, I looked in the mirror and I could actually see the change. My face looked healthier and more alive. I did my makeup and put on a blonde wig. When I looked in the mirror, I thought, "Wow, I look hot." I arrived at the party and danced with some friends. At one point, I took my sunglasses off so I could drink my beer. A guy standing next to me asked, "Are you trying to seduce me?" I responded, "What?" He said, "You took your glasses off. You're trying to seduce me." I went, "Oh, no." It turned out that the way my dress looked in the mirror and the way it looked in real life were two completely different things. The dress was see-through. I had no idea. Back then, I was really heavy. And one day I went to the public bathroom at school and stepped on the scale. It said 260 pounds. I felt horrified because that was the heaviest I had ever been. I was already tired of being overweight, but seeing the numbers like that made me realize that I needed to do something about it. Now, many years later, I'm much healthier than I used to be. I even run a blog and help other people with their weight loss journeys. I noticed that there was this pregnant lady behind me. I turned around and realized that it was myself. I went, "Oh, wow, I'm pregnant." It suddenly hit me that I was carrying a child inside of me. Whenever I would walk past one, I would look down so I wouldn't have to see my reflection. I managed to live a fairly normal childhood, but when I turned 16, my family decided to move to a new country where I would attend a special school for kids with physical disabilities. I was excited at first, but then I realized that I was the most disabled student there. Everyone else was missing a hand or a finger, and here I was missing an entire leg. All the kids at this school had body parts, I didn't. One day I went into the bathroom and saw my reflection. I was pale and bony, and the only thing that wasn't white was my prosthetic leg. I was horrified. It was orange because I hadn't painted it. That was the toughest moment of my life. I was in denial the entire time. I guess I was so busy with everything else that I didn't take the time to accept what was happening. It is surreal to think that you raise just a small person and then there is this huge baby growing inside of you. My parents had given up on me because I just didn't care about my health. They stopped buying me the fatty foods that I wanted and told me to cook my own meals. So I resorted to eating nothing but instant noodles and cheap canned soup. I was living off of $2 ramen packets and skipping school lunch so I could go home and gorge myself on whatever I could find. Of course, this continued until one day I looked in the mirror and all I saw was this fat, ugly girl staring back at me. I cried and cried, but no one came to comfort me. That was the last time I let myself go like that. It took hitting rock bottom for me to get my life together. I still have a long way to go, but at least now I see a girl in the mirror who's trying her best. Sometimes we feel ashamed for how we behave. Sometimes we forget our loved ones' birthdays. And while we may be able to lie to others, we can never escape the truth reflected back at us in the mirror. No, the last time. I was around 13 years old and very, very overweight. Number 2, a friend of mine. Many years ago, a friend of mine was going out with someone he met on the internet. After a few months, he started talking about marrying her and moving in with her. He was really in love and we were happy for him. Then he sent us a picture of her and we almost choked on our drinks. But what shocked us the most was that she looked exactly like his mother. It wasn't the most flattering photo. She had a unibrow and thick glasses. Her hair was frizzy and she was wearing a bathrobe. It turned out she was his mom and he was moving in with her. I was doing my morning routine and getting ready for work. I'm not sure why, but this made me so uncomfortable. Number 3, the pregnant lady. I was born without a lower left leg and I've always hated mirrors. No. 4, the weigh-in. No. 5, a Halloween party. No. 6, the toughest moment of my life. Number 7, my son. I was always a skinny guy, but after I got married, I gained some weight. 8, the day that I decided to get better. For most of my life, I was overweight. No. 9, the bathroom. This happened recently. I was in the bathroom taking a leak. Number 10, the darkest day of my life. And if you like this video, check out another one where we look at creepy messages that people found written in mirrors.